Cross-browser compatibility refers to the ability of a website or a web application to function correctly and consistently across different web browsers and platforms. Let's explore why it's so important. Different browsers such as Chrome, Safari, Firefox, and Edge interpret HTML, CSS, and JavaScript in their own ways. This means that code that works perfectly in one browser might not work as expected, or might even break in another. Therefore, it is critical that your website or application works on all browsers seamlessly. Ensuring cross-browser compatibility is critical for reaching the widest possible audience. If your website only works in one browser, you're potentially missing out on a large number of users who prefer other browsers. It is also essential for professional web development. Clients and users expect websites to work correctly, regardless of the browser they choose to use. Let's discuss some of the top compatibility challenges that web developers often face. First, CSS rendering differences. Browsers may interpret CSS properties differently, leading to layout and styling inconsistencies. Second, JavaScript behavior variations. JavaScript code can behave differently across browsers due to variations in their JavaScript engines. Third, HTML5 feature support. Older browsers might not support the latest HTML5 features, requiring fallbacks or polyfills. Fourth, default styling inconsistencies. Each browser has its own default styling for HTML elements, which can cause inconsistencies if not reset. Fifth, form element rendering. Form elements like buttons and input fields can render differently across browsers, affecting the user interface. This code snippet demonstrates a CSS flexbox example with a fallback for older browsers. For older browsers that don't support flexbox, we use block display and text-align center as fallbacks. Modern browsers that support flexbox will use the flexbox properties to center the content. Here are some of the tools for testing cross-browser compatibility. BrowserStack is a cloud-based testing platform that allows testing on real browsers and devices. It offers over 2,000 real browsers and devices, live interactive testing and automated screenshot testing. LambdaTest is a cross-browser testing cloud that lets you test your website across 2,000+ browsers and operating systems. It provides real-time testing, visual user interface testing, and responsive testing. CanIUse provides up-to-date browser support tables for front-end web technologies. It offers feature compatibility data, usage statistics, and is free and open source. Cross-browser testing is a testing platform with live testing, screenshots, and automated testing capabilities. It includes Selenium testing, local testing, and record and replay features. Responsively is a dev tool for responsive web design that helps build mobile-friendly websites. It provides multiple device preview, hot reloading, and an element inspector. Browser dev tools are built-in developer tools in modern browsers for testing and debugging. It offers device emulation, network monitoring, and performance analysis. Implementing these practices will help ensure your website works consistently across different browsers. Use a CSS reset or normalized CSS to eliminate default styling inconsistencies across browsers. Validate your HTML and CSS code to ensure it adheres to web standards. Test your website on multiple browsers and devices to identify and fix compatibility issues. Use feature detection instead of browser detection to implement functionality based on supported features. Implement progressive enhancement to provide a baseline experience for older browsers while enhancing the experience for modern browsers. Use vendor prefixes or auto-prefixer to ensure compatibility with different browser engines. Follow web standards and accessibility guidelines to create inclusive and compatible websites. This code snippet shows a feature detection example. The bad practice is browser detection, where we check the user agent string to determine the browser and apply specific code. The good practice is feature detection, where we check if the browser supports a specific feature like intersection observer, and use it if available, with a fallback for browsers without support. Let's explore polyfills and fallbacks, Essential tools for ensuring cross-browser compatibility. Polyfills are code that implements features on browsers that don't support them natively. They fill in missing functionality in older browsers, allow the use of modern features while maintaining compatibility, and can be loaded conditionally only when needed. On the other hand, popular polyfill resources such as Polyfill.io, Core.js, Modernizer, and Babel are useful for maintaining compatibility. Polyfill.io automatically serves polyfills based on the user's browser. Core.js is a modular standard library for JavaScript. Modernizer is a feature detection library, and Babel is a JavaScript compiler with polyfill capabilities. This code snippet shows how to conditionally load a polyfill for the array includes method if it's not supported by the browser. The second code snippet shows how to use Polyfill.io to include default features and the Fetch API, ensuring that the Fetch API can be used in all browsers. CSS Vendor Prefixes allow browsers to implement experimental or non-standard CSS properties with browser-specific syntax. Here are some of the common vendor prefixes. WebKit is used for Chrome, Safari, newer versions of Opera, and almost all iOS browsers. Moz is used for Firefox. MS is used for Internet Explorer and Microsoft Edge. O is used for old versions of Opera. In modern web development, it's recommended to use tools like AutoPrefixer to automatically add vendor prefixes during the build process. This code snippet shows an example of manual vendor prefixing for border radius and linear gradient properties. We also see an example of using it supports for modern browsers that support the grid display property. It's important to always place the standard property after the vendor prefix versions to ensure it takes precedence when supported. These tools help manage cross-browser compatibility issues by providing consistent APIs and handling browser differences automatically. jQuery is a JavaScript library designed to simplify HTML, DOM manipulation, event handling, and animation across browsers. It normalizes browser differences, simplifies DOM manipulation, and provides cross-browser AJAX. React is a JavaScript library for building user interfaces with a virtual DOM that handles browser-specific rendering. It uses a virtual DOM abstraction, has a component-based architecture, and uses JSX for consistent rendering. Bootstrap is a CSS framework that provides consistent styling and components across different browsers. It offers normalized CSS, a responsive grid system, and cross-browser components. Normalized.css is a small CSS file that provides better cross-browser consistency in the default styling of HTML elements. It preserves useful defaults, normalizes styles, and corrects bugs and inconsistencies. Babel is a JavaScript compiler that converts modern JavaScript code into backwards compatible versions. It transpiles modern JavaScript, integrates polyfills, and has a plugin ecosystem. AutoPrefixer is a post-CSS plugin that adds vendor prefixes to CSS rules using values from Can I Use database. It provides automatic vendor prefixing based on current usage data and integrates with build tools. Here is a systematic approach to ensure your website works across different browsers. Start with standards-compliant HTML, CSS, and JavaScript to ensure a solid foundation. Use a CSS reset or normalize CSS to eliminate default styling inconsistencies. Implement progressive enhancement to provide a baseline experience for older browsers while enhancing the experience for modern browsers. Test on multiple browsers during development to catch compatibility issues early. Use feature detection and provide fallbacks to handle unsupported features gracefully. Automate testing with cross-browser testing tools to streamline the testing process. Fix issues and repeat testing to ensure all compatibility issues are resolved. The workflow diagram illustrates the steps, starting with writing standards-compliant code, applying CSS reset or normalize, implementing progressive enhancement, testing across browsers, fixing issues and retesting, and finally deploying a cross-browser solution. This iterative process helps ensure compatibility across all target browsers. If you like this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Visit codelucky.com for more such useful content.